Welcome everyone to this explainer. Today, we're doing a forensic audit of a fascinating source document titled The Scientific Indictment, and we're going to see how it completely shatters the mainstream narrative surrounding the famous 2004 USS Nimitz encounter.
Right off the bat, this quote perfectly sets up the Trojan horse that the source claims we've all fallen for. We've been looking at the wrong part of the magic trick. The author argues that while the entire world was distracted by the sheer physical speed of the Tic Tac, they totally missed the underlying, terrifying reality of how it allegedly hacked human dimensions.
You know the footage, right? We've all obsessed over that stark black and white military FLIR video. And the public has heavily focused on these absolutely impossible physical speeds. Dropping from 80,000 feet in low Earth orbit down to sea level in a staggering 0.78 seconds, then stopping dead to hover silently over churning ocean whitewater before just instantaneously accelerating away from Commander Fravor's FA-18 fighter jets. It's wild. But according to the text, that massive aerodynamic display, that was just the decoy. Which brings us to Section 1, the Nimitz illusion versus the cat point hack. The crucial point here is shifting our focus away from the aerodynamics and plunging straight into the dimension of cyber warfare outlined in the source. You see, after the craft vanished from Commander Fravor's visual contact, it reappeared 60 miles away, right at his highly classified rendezvous location. And this forces us to ask a really chilling question. How did it know exactly where he was going?
Let's break down what a CAP point actually is. It stands for Combat Air Patrol Point. Basically, it's a randomly generated GPS coordinate, and it is heavily encrypted within the Navy's multi-billion-dollar Aegis Link 16 tactical data network. The critical detail to grasp here isn't just what the CAP point is, it's that the drone didn't just happen to guess these coordinates. The document asserts it actively intercepted and mathematically hacked them in a fraction of a second.
To put that into perspective, a standard silicon supercomputer, like the massive ones running at the Pentagon, would take literally millions of years to brute force crack that level of US military encryption sequentially. But the Tic Tac, or what the source refers to as the CL-957 drone, hacked it in fractions of a second. This absolutely vast gap in computing power forms the core argument of the source. The Nimitz incident was essentially a live-fire digital flex by a breakaway civilization, proving that human military encryption is completely obsolete.
Let's dive into how this machine actually works in Section 2, the Autopsy, the Metamaterial shell. So, peeling back the layers of this 40-foot seamless white cylinder, we have to contrast it with what we know. Conventional aerospace uses riveted aluminum and titanium, spits out hot thermal exhaust plumes, and is pretty easily tracked by radar. Breakaway tech, on the other hand, is described as a 3D-printed bismuth magnesium metamaterial. Think of it as an engineered supermetal. It's completely solid state, meaning zero moving parts, and it dynamically tunes itself to just swallow incoming radar.
It's honestly not just an airplane hull, it's a solid-state thermal sponge. The shell acts as a flawless terahertz waveguide, trapping internal microwave energy to polarize the vacuum and actively reduce its own mass. And because generating all that internal energy creates massive heat, it uses the Seebeck effect, instantly converting that extreme heat directly back into electricity. This endothermic process literally absorbs the vehicle's own waste heat, which is exactly why it looks so eerily cold on military thermal cameras. Plus, it can apply an electrical voltage to its skin to instantly become a perfect absorber of radar frequencies.
Moving on to Section 3, the hardware, a room temperature diamond brain.
Because the true terror isn't actually the outer shell. It's the miniaturized quantum processor running the whole thing from the inside. First, we need to understand a massive hurdle in physics called quantum decoherence. This is when a quantum state, or a qubit, is lost due to thermal noise or physical vibration. To prevent this, standard quantum computers traditionally require these massive liquid helium refrigerators cooled down to -460 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, you obviously can't strap a giant building-sized cryogenic fridge inside a sleek drone pulling 100 Gs without it shattering, right? Which brings us to an incredible engineering workaround.
The source text points directly to a real, documented patent, U.S. Patent 9235807B2. This describes a room temperature, solid-state quantum computer using a synthetic diamond crystal with a single trapped electron. The document claims the engineers behind this breakaway civilization totally bypassed cryogenic cooling. They built a quantum brain made of microscopic diamonds, a concept patented right out in the open by defense-funded academic institutes.
Normally, fragile qubits are like spinning coins. If they get bumped by a single warm atom or the slightest vibration, they fall over and scramble their data. But a diamond lattice? That is the hardest, most rigid physical shock absorber on Earth. It fundamentally protects the trapped electron's quantum spin from hypersonic heat and extreme g-forces. The diamond acts as the ultimate physical armor, allowing this quantum computer to calculate flawlessly at room temperature while dodging missiles.
Section 4. The Superposition Hack. Farming the Multiverse.
Okay, so let's dive into exactly how this diamond brain executed the terrifying cap point interception. Step 1. It intercepts the Navy's heavily encrypted Aegis transmission. Step 2. It enters superposition. Instead of brute forcing the password sequentially like a normal computer, it throws the calculation across thousands of parallel dimensions to simulate every possible answer simultaneously. Step 3. It collapses the calculation instantly on the exact decrypted GPS coordinate. By farming the multiverse, it solves the encryption in a fraction of a second. Furthermore, the source claims the drone receives its operational updates via an invisible tether of quantum entanglement. We're talking about paired quantum particles communicating instantaneously across any distance, straight through solid rock, deep ocean water, plasma bubbles, you name it. It entirely bypasses hackable radio frequencies.
And to secure that communication, they rely on the observer effect, basically a soap bubble rule. Because quantum particles are so fragile, the physical act of simply looking at a transmission fundamentally alters it. If a cyber warfare unit tries to intercept the signal, the entanglement breaks, the bubble pops. The data instantly scrambles into useless random static. The command center is alerted, and the link is severed instantly. They're using the literal laws of physics as a digital padlock.
Which brings us to our final section, the breakaway civilization. To back all this up, the author points to a documented reality of existing patents, from the U.S. Navy's patent for inertial mass reduction to IBM's quantum cryptography to those defense-funded diamond quantum computers. By highlighting these cold, hard patent numbers, the source grounds this wild narrative in documented reality. They argue these mechanics aren't science fiction. They automated the account using silicon and synthetic diamonds and left the receipts right there in the U.S. Patent Office.
So the core thesis we're looking at boils down to this. Commander Fravor didn't encounter aliens. He intercepted a breakaway civilization. The Tic Tac's computer split across parallel dimensions to prove that human military encryption is completely obsolete against them. The Nimitz incident was a terrifying reminder that our most secure digital vaults are essentially made of glass.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you staring into the abyss with this one profound thought about the true state of our modern security. If the dimensional hacking and quantum computing described in these sources are a patented functional reality today, is any secret in the human world truly secure? It is a mind-bending question to ponder. Thanks for exploring this with me today, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.